Hi, I'm Lindy Whitten. Welcome to the studio. Today I'm just going to talk briefly about how to fix your painting. What we mean when we say fix is to stop the soft pastel dust from falling off the surface. So you've just done a painting, here's the little one we did in an earlier demonstration, and you want to preserve it. A number of ways of doing that. Very simple way, if you've used sanded paper where it will take lots of layers, is to just attach it to a board like so, take it outside, bash it firmly with your hand on the back, and any loose dust will come off. That preserves the integrity of your painting and keeps the sparkle. If you have done that, the next thing you can do is take a piece of paper. This is just ordinary kitchen grease-proof paper. Place it over the top and rub firmly with your hand. That will just pick up any spare dust and push any of the loose pastel crystals into the paper. And you can do that without having much loss of sparkle or spontaneity. Another thing you can use, many artists use, I don't really use it very much except for underpainting when I darken up areas with it, is fixative. So I've got two brands here, a Degas, which is more expensive but is more natural ingredients, so it doesn't smell as much and is easier to work with, and another workable fixative that has that awful chemical smell. And if you're using this one, I always take it outside, except for today when I'm demonstrating to you. So you just take it, shake it, hold your pastel up at an angle like so, and then spray a light coating over it. And then just wait for it to dry before you store your painting. And that will keep it from falling off. But as I say, it does darken the painting somewhat, and I don't use it very often. If I do use it, I'll lose it at that stage, and then I'll put a little bit of pastel over again, and that will take care of it. When I frame my pastels, I always put a spacer in between the pastel and the mat board, and so when you do that, you don't have to worry about the dust falling off, because it falls down in between the gap and doesn't get on your mat or on your frame or on your glass. So I'll talk about framing another time, and now we'll just go on to how to store the painting. So here you have your painting that you've fixed in whatever way you want to, or just not done anything with, and you just need to take some glassine. Glassine is a very shiny paper. You can see I've got some rolled up here. It's a very shiny, smooth, slippery paper, and that will help to stop any friction between your pastel and its surrounding. So I just unroll my roll, take a piece here, lie my pastel down, wrap it around, and tape it down. Now if I don't want to tape it to my board, because I'll be using that as the backing of my painting later on, so if I don't want to tape it to the board, I'm just going to put a ordinary piece of paper in there, and then I can tape it straight to the paper, catching in these two edges and straight onto the paper. It still won't move around, but it will mean when I take it off, I'm not going to damage my backing board. So I then just tape it both edges. And I'm using masking tape because it's very easy to remove. The glassine paper is a little bit expensive, so I want to recycle it. When I frame this painting, I'll just take off the tape, unwrap my painting, put it in the frame, smooth out this. Sometimes I iron out any creases and recycle it. So that's it. So if you aren't close to a store where you can buy the glassine, or you don't want to spend the money, a cheaper alternative is grease-proof kitchen paper. You can just put that on top, wrap it around, and do the same thing with it. You want to be careful though when you're using materials to wrap up your paintings. If they're precious to you and you want to keep them, you don't want to use materials with acid in them. They want to be acid free, because the acid can actually yellow your paintings over time if it's in contact with them for very long. So I use glassine all the time, store them flat. It doesn't really matter whether the painting is up or down, but usually I try and keep them up. Store store them flat. I have some long, big flat drawers that I pop them in, but you can store them in a plastic box under your bed if you want to, or anywhere that's flat. If you're going to store them upright, you might have somewhere where you can slide them in to store them. Just make sure they're on a slight angle backwards, and that helps to preserve the surface. So that's all for today. Next time I'll talk about how to simply frame a pastel painting using a store-bought frame.